That's it for me.
Birdup, dude, where are you going?
Listen, you've talked for long enough. I have to go.
Wait, but Birdup! At least I still have you guys.
Of course, Andres, you're practically family. I will listen to anything you Wait, Andres, what's going on? Why am I in this case? Get me.
Due to how successful not only Swap Force but Skylanders was, a fourth game pretty much had to happen. And on April 23rd of 2014, Skylanders Trap Team would be announced, with the gimmick being the ability to trap and play as new villains, which is still to this day the most popular video on the Skylanders YouTube channel. Trap Team would release later that same year on nearly every console, and for all intents and purposes is a pretty good game. But in sales, something odd would happen, as it wouldn't perform as well, with it selling over 4.6 million copies, which is still a pretty good amount, but it would be the lowest out of the 4 games, and Trap Team would be the last Skylanders game to be considered good. Since Activision loved being Activision, in early 2015, Skylanders Superchargers would be announced and released later that same year, with having the ability to drive vehicles. Even though the game had a pretty good racing mode, brought back a lot of the characters from Swap Force, and had Bowser and Donkey Kong as guest star characters, Superchargers continued to downfall, with it only selling somewhere in the range of 2.8 million copies, a 38% drop, but still did okay enough to justify one more game. And in 2016, Skylanders Imaginators would be announced and released later that same year. But by this point, no one really cared. With how oversaturated the entire Bring Toys to Life genre was, it just seemed like they gave up with Imaginators. Like, how do you go from new series, expected sequel, and a fresh, unique idea, to play as bad guy, drive car, and fuck it, we don't care, do whatever you want? It put me in the hospital. Why aren't you guys saying anything? Imaginators ultimately didn't do well, with it only selling under 2 million copies. Although there were more figures that were meant to be released, in fact there's meant to be another year for Imaginators. After the release of Robo, it marked the end of Skylanders, with any future plans for Imaginators being scrapped in favor of continuing the Netflix series Skylanders Academy, which even then was cancelled after its 3rd season in 2019. After the show concluded, Skylanders was given one more chance with the mobile game Skylanders Rings of Heroes, but seemingly due to a lack of a player base, on February 28th of 2022, the game would be shut down. And as of now, Skylanders is considered a dead series, but the community is still keeping the game alive, with new things being discovered, people making content, and still being mentioned in current media. It's clear that even if the series is never coming back, the community will always find a way to keep these games alive, even if we're never going to get a Swap Force HD.